to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
What up, what up, what up? How's everybody doing? I'm back. Took a little hiatus, but the Narrative Podcast is back. So for those that don't know, the Narrative Podcast is the home of original people peace, original people reciprocity, and original people positivity. I am your host, Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast promotes positive self-images of original people and original people culture. Narrative Podcast promotes positive self-talk about of original people and original people culture. Narrative Podcast also promotes positivity and positive frames of reference about original people and original people culture. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. Welcome all my narrators. So yeah, I've been gone for a few weeks now. So just like I was gone, usually when I take these little breaks, it's usually for one of three things. One, I'm unable to do it. Either I'm physically ill or an injury, having technical difficulties doing my uploads, or just plain old don't feel like doing one. Well, it's two of the three in this case why I've been gone so long. So I had a little boo-boo and I had to take some time to get myself back together. Injured myself on some Steve Urkel. Oops, did I do that? Yeah. It wasn't serious enough to go to the hospital, but yeah, it was uncomfortable to say the least. And then I was also having some technical difficulties with my equipment. I was getting that weird I was getting that robot sound. So I just fell back for a couple weeks. Let me bounce back right quick. So here I am on this Sunday evening doing a full broadcast of the Narrative Podcast. So when I left you guys last, I had started a mission to do as many uploads during the weekday as possible in the effort to put out positivity in the atmosphere. So I haven't abandoned my quest. We need it more than ever. With all the negative things going on in the news these days, we need more positivity than ever within our community, and to promote positivity, leadership, family values, and all that more than ever since I've been away. But yeah, welcome to the Narrative Podcast. So like I said, I usually do weekday uploads and weekend uploads, but I had to just fall back for a little second. So today is I'm guessing a Father's Day weekend, and tomorrow is actually Father's Day, if I'm not mistaken. But everybody, all the fathers out there doing their thing, handling their business, keeping the family together and all that, taking care of their seeds, taking care of their responsibility. Salute, salute. So if you have a father or a positive male person in your life, please let them know. I hope you let them know that they was appreciated today and did something special for them and with them if you were able to. And don't celebrate, promote, or condone these greeting card holidays, but there's an exception to every rule. I wholeheartedly support Mother's Day and Father's Day because they are special days. You need to let them know we didn't get here by ourselves, and even if you have a strange, strenuous relationship with your mother and your father, you need to let them on these little holidays, let them know that they're appreciated, especially on these days. Because you can never get it back if you have your biological father with you playing a part in your life, or just, like I said, a positive male role model, somebody responsible for your upbringing. And it doesn't have to be your biological father. It could be your big brother. It could be your uncle. It could be probably just a family friend, somebody in the neighborhood, whoever has had a positive impact in your life, to just say Happy Father's Day to them. Do something for them special. Let them know that they are appreciated. A day like this is just all about respect. So weird thing, how come, since we're on the topic, how come on Mother's Day it's breakfast in bed, taking mom out to brunch or lunch, so that she doesn't have to prepare any, meals, any food. But on Father's Day, it's grilling out on the grill. Dad got to get on the grill and cook. And then the quality of gifts as well. Like mom, everybody goes out for mom. What does dad get? He gets like really unthought out gifts, like ugly ties, watches, koozies, beer koozies, stuff you pick up at Bass Pro Shop. Little cheesy cars, like, shout out all the fathers stuff. Like, enjoy. I hope you guys enjoyed your day. This is kind of a late upload. Definitely big shout out to my father, who is with me but not with me currently. He's serving the long one. I get into that one. I'll do a share on that one day, how he got where he is. I will give you a spoiler alert. It involves unaliving a Caucasian man. But anyway, happy Father's Day. Welcome to the Narrator Podcast. I am your host, Halsey Allen. So like I said, I've been gone a while. How I usually do these is I usually give you a brief overview of the Narrator Podcast before diving into the content. But I have over 300 episodes in, and I'm easing my way back in, trying to get my legs back, because I've been gone so long I actually forgot how I do it. But yeah. So it's been a long little vacation for me, but I got some positive content for you, and that's my purpose here. To provide positive content about original people and original people culture. Putting out positivity. I will tell you at least this much when I'm saying original people and original people culture. I'm referring to our people, melanated people, black people, but the reason why I call us original people on my platform because were and are the original people of this planet. We existed before anything else existed. We existed on every single, uh, corner of the globe you can think of. Not only that, we pretty much invented every single thing you can think of. Our lineage is original. And like I said, I'm not going to do my normal overview, give you all the misnomers about the Narrator podcast. I'm going to kind of dive straight into the content this evening. It's a super late start, so I don't want to finish the upload at midnight because I'm already, pushing it. I usually do my full episodes on Saturdays. But when I did my promo uploads, I do say the weekend, so I never really specifically say Saturday or Sunday. Because technically Friday is a weekend too, if you want to be technical. But I do say the weekend when I do my full episodes, so technically today is still the weekend. So I'm going to dive right into the content, but before I dive into the content, one little misnomer I want you guys to know about original people, something, that the media kind of false narrative that the media keeps on propagating about our people, being original people. They try to focus the lens on slavery, making slavery be the most pivotal moment in time, most definitive time of our people. We had a whole existence before slavery. And the biggest thing about slavery, false narrative, is how much the transatlantic slave trade impacted our people. So like I said, being original people, we existed on every single corner of the globe, and we didn't get to all these places on slave boats. We already existed everywhere you can think of. Had large concentrations of people possessing large quantities of melanin with African DNA. And we didn't get to all these different places on slave boats. We was already in all parts of Europe. We was already in all parts of Asia. Was already in all parts of, Mesoamerica, any Spanish-speaking nation you can already think of. Who was down under in Australia. Pacific Islands, Hawaii, Virgin Islands, Bahamas, UK, Britain, London, even North Pole and South Pole was already there. But history has erased our existence in all these places. And, powers that be, they just keep on perpetuating that false narrative, how indicative, how almost symbiotically they try to attach slavery to us. It's a form of, really psychological warfare. They also, another false narrative is that we never resisted slavery, when all throughout history, everywhere we were enslaved, there was always an uprising, but never like recorded in history. Especially here in the Americas, like we are, like there's not no period in history where there wasn't an uprising in the South when we were slaves. We had like 50 million Nat Turners. We had 50 million like Harriet Tubmans. But that doesn't but they kind of just focus the lens on all the negative stuff about slavery when, that was such a minor time in our existence. And another thing in the Americas that the false narrative that they try to push is that all of us come, descended from Africa, when the majority of us was already here. Like over 60% of us was already just here. So like the Native Americans that are here, that are occupying these reservations, the ones that got the casinos and all that, they're not the original natives. This is the Native American was a term made up, coined by, the powers that be. We are the original natives. Christopher Columbus, he thought he discovered America. It was really Indian. In his journal, Christopher Columbus' journal, you can fact check, do your Googles. He said the black, because remember he thought he was in India. He said the black Indians on this land are so trusting. Not red, black. And then moreover, most of the air quotes Indians on these reservations are $5 Indians. They descend, their lineage is like, it was a time in America where white people could identify themselves as Indian for $5 US currency. And the reason why they did that was for tax purposes, because Indians weren't taxed. And so a whole lot of them purchased their lineage to avoid paying taxes. But make no mistake, we are the original everything. Everything comes from us. Everything can be traced back to us. So that's what I want you to just really soak in and understand when I refer to our people as original people here on this platform. Just letting you know that we was here first. Everything, comes from us. We invented pretty much everything, and we were here first. And another reason why I refer to our people as original people on this platform also is to unify us as a people. Because as I said, we were first and we were everywhere. So there's many different types of us, hailing from many different land masses. We all claim different nationalities. We all speak different languages. We all have different political views, religious views, spiritual views. But the one thing we all have in common as original people, we can all trace our lineage back to the original point of origin for all civilization. As diverse as we all have that in common as a people. Now, the debate is, we can all trace our lineage back to Africa, but the big debate is, where was Africa originally? And then what was Africa originally called before the colonizers named it Africa? Because many believe what we refer to as Africa is really over here in the Americas, and there's all kind of proof to support that. There's like pyramids in Illinois, but that's another time, another topic, and the scholars, they can debate amongst themselves about, where Africa originally was. But I just wanted you to know on here why I refer to our people as original people. It's not to say we're superior to anybody or better than anybody. It's just letting everybody know we was here first. We're the original copy for mankind, and by man also meaning woman as well. So like I said, I've been gone so long, I'm not going to walk you through the overview and go over all the misnomers about what you'll be listening to this evening. We're going to wing it, and I'm going to just fill in all the blanks as I come to them. And, we're going to glide on into the weekend. I'm going to get my groove back as far as doing my weekday uploads. But I almost wasn't even going to do one, but I already announced that I was doing a full episode, so, I don't want to make myself look inconsistent. Announce I'm going to do something and then don't do it. So here I go. So first of all, my podcast, my full weekday episodes are broken down into sections, and each section has a speaking point. I try not to exceed 1 hour per broadcast because I want to engage the listeners. This is an audio platform. I don't want to bore you guys asleep. I want to keep you entertained and, attentive with the content that I'll be presenting to you. So that's why I try not to exceed 1 hour per broadcast. So with my first section, I'm going to be starting out. This section is called the highlight section. And in this section, what I do is I highlight original people, owned and operated businesses. So if you was paying attention, class, when I say original, I'm talking about us, black people. And the reason why I highlight businesses owned and operated by us, because on this platform, the Narrator Podcast, is all about sharing positive frames of reference. That's my mission statement, is to put out positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. And there aren't a lot of positive frames of reference about, owning your own business and working for yourself. The very few frames of references that we have about, entrepreneurs in our community come via scripted reality television shows. And on them scripted reality television shows, they intentionally warp the the images and likenesses of our people to secure the ratings. They want to promote degeneracy. They basically go out of their way to show us an ultra rare form. They show us fighting on camera, fornicating, overindulging in drugs and alcohol, and carrying ourselves, less than who we are as a people. And who are we as a people? We are kings and queens, gods and goddesses of the universe, but on these scripted reality television shows, they got us acting super ratchet, disrespectful, conducting ourselves like nobody attempted to try to properly raise us, showing each other such disrespect. So that's the that's the goal of scripted reality television shows. They wanna sell drama. They wanna sell and recycle trauma. They want a crap show. I'm trying to watch my language, but you know what I mean. They want to show the worst of the worst, because it's a formula. Degeneracy sells, sex sells. Like all negative things equal sales. So they want to market us to sell us, to get the views, to get the ratings or whatever. But the thing about scripted reality television shows is that the people that they have on there to represent our community are, brothers and sisters earning upwards 5 figures or better a year, and have tons of businesses under their umbrella, employ, different entities, employ their own kind, but all that gets drowned out because of the network's agenda, which is basically to sell degeneracy. So they want to corrupt our images and our likenesses to fall in stride with their agenda. So that's why I do the highlight section to kind of cut through all that. What I attempt to do in this section is walk you through an entrepreneur's journey, give you insights on how to become an entrepreneur, or how entrepreneurs started their own businesses that I highlight, and put out that positive frame of reference, because the media will have us believing that it's impossible to start your own business. It's impossible to be successful, because they keep on intentionally bombarding us with negativity. Every time you watch television, it's always, us down bad, us fighting each other, committing crimes against each other, engaging in some type of lewd, crude acts, some type of degeneracy. It's all psychological programming and conditioning. But here on my platform, that's why I do the highlight section, to just put out the positive frame of reference about entrepreneurship and doing for yourself. It's not impossible. You can do it. These people did it. But a sidebar I want to tack on to that: everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur. There's nothing wrong with being a worker bee. You have to have a certain type of mentality to be an entrepreneur and be a business owner. And just being realistic, everybody don't have that in them. That doesn't take away from you as an individual, because the entrepreneurs, they need employees. So, why not work for the brother man instead of the other man? But anyway, so that's why I do the highlight section here on this platform. I highlight, successful people within our community, put out the positive frame of reference about, doing for self. And the takeaway I want the listeners to get from that is to kind of spark something inside you if you're meant to, because some people just need that little push to start their own business, or just have it resonate that it's not impossible, and you don't have to look at these negative images of our people and subscribe to the false narrative. So when I do the highlight section of the Narrative Podcast, the qualifying factors that I look at is, of course, the business owners, they're original people, so it's black owned from the top to the bottom. They hire their own. They do some type of philanthropy in the community. They either pay into a nonprofit organization, or they have their own nonprofit organization. They do something for the community, whether it's, with the elderly, whether it's with our children, whether it's providing financial literacy, or just hiring people within the community that they're rooted in. They give back some type of way with their business. They're owned and operated, from the ground up, original. And my last qualifying factor is that they line up with the theme. And my theme I've been running with is, nationally recognized holidays. And then one last thing I want to say about the highlight section. A lot of the people that I highlight, they don't necessarily have the background for the business that they started. They don't necessarily have the college education, or the finances, or everything you need to start a business. Most of the people that I highlight, the highlight section, they had an idea, they stepped out on faith, and just filled in all the blanks as they crossed every bridge as they came to them. They didn't necessarily have a game plan when they started their own business. So that's another misnomer about being an entrepreneur, is like you don't have to per se have a game plan or a business plan, but it's just about taking the first step, is what I'm projecting here in this section of my podcast. Is people that weren't afraid to take the first step and follow their ambition. So having said all that, I think I briefed you good enough on the highlight section of the Narrative Podcast. I'm going to highlight the businesses today. And so, keeping in stride with my theme, today is National Pizza Day. So in the highlight section of the Narrative Podcast, I will be highlighting original people-owned businesses that specialize in producing and selling pizza. Now today is National Pizza Day, not to be confused with National Pie Day. Now, National Pie Day is really a marketing gimmick pizza places use, but it's actually celebrating the equation of pi, 3.14. You know the deal. But yeah. Anyway, today is National Pizza Day, and so that's what I'll be. Those are the businesses that I'll be highlighting. Original people owned and operated pizzerias. So my very first business I'll be highlighting today on the highlight section of the Narrative Podcast is a business called Plant-Based Pizzeria. And the proprietor of this business is a brother by the name of Paul Jordan. This is located in Atlanta, Georgia. The website is plantbasedpizzeria.net. Yeah. Telephone number 404-835-2739. So basically the brother, and I'm just giving you the heads up, I'm giving you the streamlined version of his origin story, how he started his business. Because again, I'm trying to, keep my time limit that I set for myself, my 1 hour time limit. But he got a kind of complicated background story. So I'm just giving you the highlights of his journey to becoming an entrepreneur. Basically, he had health issues. Him and his mother had health issues. He's from a different part of Georgia. He's not from the A. But the article didn't really say what part he was originally from. But he basically, he learned how to cook that southern food from his mother. He said one of his favorite foods was like smothered pork chops, biscuits and all that, grits and all that. And that's probably how he got the heart condition. Him and his mother had a heart condition. So what he wanted to do is start eating healthier, and like one of the healthiest ways you can eat is plant-based. At some point, he starts studying Dr. Sebi, but like his mother was his inspiration to cook in general. He had his own food truck in a part of Georgia. And so after he made the full conversion to becoming a vegan, he wanted to start cooking plant-based foods. He found a brick and mortar location because, like I said, he had his own food truck, and he just stumbled on a brick and mortar location where he's currently located now. He's a pop-up actually, but he got a brick and mortar location, and so when he got there, it already had pizza equipment in it. So rather than because he originally wanted to do plant-based burgers, so rather than tear out all the pizza equipment, he had like a wood fire stove and all that. He decided to just teach himself, how to make pizza, how to make plant-based pizza at that. And so that's what he did, and that's how Plant-Based Pizzeria was born. What sets him apart is his crust. He has a spelt crust. All the protein toppings, of course, are plant-based. The chicken, sausage, pepperoni, all that is plant-based. His specialties are, in addition to his crust, he has a specialty in-house cashew cheese. Another thing that sets him apart is the spelt crust contains no yeast. That's pretty much it. All I took down in my notes about it. His most requested item is his Hawaiian style pizza and his Georgia peach pizza. Those are his two most requested pizzas. They also have loaded fries and sandwiches and pasta, and then they also do their own in-house vegan ranch dressing. Oh yeah, and they also have calzones. Now it comes with a pretty healthy price tag. They're not cheap at all. Like their cheapest pie is, I think their plain cheese is $17.50. And then something else, all the pizza comes with garlic oil on all the crusts. So that's how they, I guess they got creating like a buttery crust to give you that buttery feel. But from the plant-based perspective, because, yeah. But, yeah, next time you find yourself in the A, go check that out. Plant-based pizzeria. And let's give a warm narrative podcast round of applause for the founder of Plant-Based Pizzeria, Paul Jordan. Okay, and the next business I'll be highlighting on the highlight section of the Narrative Podcast is a business located in Minneapolis. And this is called Slice Brothers Pizza. They hold the title for being Minneapolis's first black pizza. And when I read the article, I immediately flashed, I don't know why, but I immediately flashed in my mind to The Last Dragon. Please direct your pizza to Daddy Green's Pizza. And I think because it was a scene in there because, I think he was having dialogue with the younger son. He said, everybody thought I was crazy, a black man with his own pizza shop. But now it's so common all over the world, brothers and sisters, they got their own pizzerias. But fun fact, like I said earlier, we are the original people who is already everywhere, all over the world, including Italy. So, like Sicilians, Italians, no matter what region, they don't like to admit it. Y'all black. Hey, paisano, go bagan. Y'all black. But anyway, so it was founded sometime in 2021 by a brother by the name of Adam Cato and his partner Jose Tormond. The website is slicebrothersUSA.com. You can call them at 612-886-1921. Physical address 519 East Hennepin Avenue, Minneapolis, Minnesota. And they also have several other locations all throughout Minneapolis. They got a location in the St. Paul area on Treasure Island. They also have a location in Bloomington, St. Paul area, Frogtown. And they also got another location somewhere in Minneapolis. Yeah, my bad. I didn't write their fourth location, but you can do your Googles. But anyway, their story was kind of short. There wasn't a whole lot of details for their individual bios, like how they met, why they decided on a pizza parlor. But basically, two like-minded individuals collaborated together and decided to open their own pizzeria. Pardon me for a sec. So what sets them apart is they're in Minneapolis. They specialize in the New York style slice, the New York pizza. So it's like, the kind like Dave Portnoy likes to review. They do all types of pizza. Their specialty pizza is their dill pickle ranch. They also are known for their supreme pizzas. So yeah, I will have to say it's just straight up pizza. There are no like vegan options. So sorry all vegans out there that don't do meat or dairy. No options for you at that location. But being the entrepreneurs that they are, I'm pretty sure they will eventually accommodate their audience. But for right now, they don't have any vegan options. But it seems like they took the time to master the basics as far as a pizzeria, because a lot of people, they're doing these chains. They're trying to do all this fusion. But my humble, unpopular opinion, like, to be a successful pizza chain, you gotta master the basics. You can't, fuse all these different cultures if you can't even get the basics right, which is just plain cheese, pepperoni, plain cheese, pepperoni, veggie, and then of course like beef and sausage. But if you can't get the basics right, how are you going to have all these specialty pizzas? And it seems like these two took the time to learn the basics. The basics of a standard pie. And like I said, it's located in Minneapolis, so if you're a New York native, you can put them to the test to see if is it that real deal, or are they overhyped. But yeah, next time you're in Minneapolis, check them out. They got 4 locations all throughout the city. They also have a mission statement to utilize their business to employ their own people and to bridge the wealth gap by offering them steady employment and the chance to franchise and open up their own chain. Like I said, they already got locations all throughout the city, so when you franchise, you can either stay in Minneapolis or go take it somewhere else. And Minneapolis is kind of huge, to be a Midwest state or city. So that's about all that I got in my notes for that particular establishment. So join me giving these brothers, Jose and Adam, a warm narrative podcast round of applause for Slice Brothers Pizza. And then last but not least, we got another original people owned and operated pizzeria by the name of Cuts and Slices. And it was established by a brother named Randy McLaren. It was established in 2018. Now, Randy, his story is a little interesting because pizza was not his first choice. He was actually a sneakerhead. He's a native New Yorker, living in the Flatbush area of New York, and he was selling sneakers. And he went viral online selling his brands of sneakers. He was a sneaker concierge in 2011. So, like anything, it tanked. And when it tanked, his first instinct was he wanted to do food next. After the sneaker brand kind of, fizzled. I'm sorry, I'm skipping a part. So like his sneakers brand went viral because of hip hop. And so like the type of people, his clientele were hip hop artists that were buying his sneakers. And so like one of his most loyal customers was like Fabulous. And so, that's why his pizza chain is so popular now, because all the rappers that were supporting his sneaker ended up, using their social media platforms to blow his pizza spot up. But like I said, it was a transition. He wanted to do food next. it's not too hard to connect the dots. New York City, like, you know, what's New York known for? They're known for their pizza. They're also known for them hot dogs that they now call glizzies. The dirty New York dirty water dog, but you know. But eventually he you know, transitioned into selling pizza and keeping his hip hop ties from when he had his sneaker brand going. Some of his biggest supporters for his pizza chain is Jadakiss and Styles P of the Locks, which launched him into, you know, mega stardom in the you know, restaurant industry. But like I said, the name of his brand is Cuts and Slices. You can go over to cutsandslicesnyc.com to view the menu. He's located on 93 Howard Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 1123. And then another location in Queens, 20501 Linden Boulevard in Queens, New York, 1142. So what sets him apart is like you know, his New York staples is NY, so you know, he got New York staple hood classic toppings. You know, they got the bodegas in there to sell the New York chopped cheese. So one of his biggest sellers is the chopped cheese, and then he got a vegan New York chopped cheese. Those are like his most requested menu items. Another popular one is the trying to find it on the menu. I took it down in the notes, but yeah, sometimes my notes get a little discombobulated. You also got an oxtail curry, so you know, New York is the melting pot of the world. So like he's like playing into all those different nationalities settled there. You know, building his flavor profile around that. Another interesting thing about this spot is it's mostly halal, not too much swine. His pepperonis are beef pepperoni, turkey sausage, and it's not too much swine. So if you know, you know. If you're a New York native, go on, hit that up. Cuts and Slices. Join me in giving this brother a warm narrative podcast round of applause. Randy McLaren and Cuts and Slices. All right, that'll do it for the highlight section of the Narrator podcast. On to my next section, which is the spotlight section. In this section, what I'm doing is I'm spotlighting people in our community that's impacting our community in a positive way through their philanthropy, or you know, utilizing whatever platform they occupy to speak candidly on our issues and address our issues and provide answers to the problems that we have. In the past, the spotlight section, I've spotlighted. I just usually was spotlighting celebrities, you know, actors, actresses, models, comedians, recording artists, athletes, public figures, YouTubers, TikTokers. But as of yet, you know, I've been just spotlighting normal people to kind of break that negative stereotype that all we know how to do is entertain. So that's what I've been doing lately is spotlighting regular people. Now, why am I doing the spotlight section? I'm doing the spotlight section to for a couple reasons: to create the healthy habit of you responsibly utilizing your platforms to spread positivity versus negativity. Because our people have been stigmatized as, you know, being messy online. You know, I subscribed to the false narrative a while ago. You know, subscribing to the false narrative that we're the only people that gets online to be messy, when it's really like everybody, but for some reason they made us, you know, the faces of messiness, online messiness. And so what I want to do in the spotlight section is just put out the healthier habit to utilize your platform to say something positive about your brother or your sister, or you know, something positive about somebody doing something positive, rather than, you know, spreading lies, spreading gossip, and being negative, and name calling, and dragging your brother and sister through the mud, trading insults online. You know, that's kind of what we've been brainwashed and conditioned to do by the powers that be, because we think, you know, engaging in negativity is the quickest route to the bag, and that's not true. You can be positive online and secure a pretty substantial bag. You don't have to subscribe to negativity. You don't have to, you know, be messy online to get traction for whatever project you're trying to launch. So that's what I'm doing with the spotlight section. Is just basically, this section is a section. Basically, what I'm saying in this section is all heroes don't wear capes. This is like, you know, regular people doing positive things in the community to uplift and edify our people in some type of way, whether it's through philanthropy, whether it's through you know, advocacy or activism of some sort, speaking on our issues, you know, champion what's right. You know, that's what this section is all about, is you know, acknowledging somebody that's in the soil doing something positive. And not for nothing, your brother, Halsey Allen, on the Narrator podcast, created the wave for spotlighting. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Because before I added the spotlight section to my podcast, and you can fact check, go through my episode log, and then just, you know, do your Googles, your YouTube, and, you know, cross-reference and see, was anybody like using spotlighting before I started the spotlight section. And you will find nobody was, because before I added the spotlight section to my podcast, the Narrator podcast, nobody, nobody was spotlighting anybody. Now all of a sudden it's spotlight this, spotlight that, spotlight, spotlight, spotlight. One thing about this internet, it makes the world smaller. It's always somebody observing you and listening to you. So I already know who messes with my podcast because they trying to leave a trail of breadcrumbs. I think some people be trolling, but like definitely, you know, I know who listens to my platform, you know, by the way they copy my style. You know, like the way I say stuff, how I say stuff, what I say, you know, they're kind of incorporated into their content some type of way. But yeah, like the old saying goes, the best form of flattery, like imitation is the best form of flattery. So, you know, since I started spotlighting, now everybody's spotlighting. Everybody that, you know, interviews guests today will be spotlighting so and so and such, and today on the spotlight, you know, and they're just that medium just didn't exist before I started doing it. Factory. Yeah, but it makes me feel good that so many people are listening. Another thing you can't ever go by is the numbers. Just because I ain't hitting the numbers don't mean people ain't listening to me. It's obvious. It's a fact. But if I was in it for the money, I would have quit a long time ago because it's just like, you know, ain't no bread in this, no major bread. I'm just like basically covering operating expenses and having a couple extra little bucks in my pocket. But yeah, it's a thrill to know I'm influencing so much people just being behind, and I don't even really have too much content showing my face. To just know people's listening to my platform and following suit about the example that I'm setting to responsibly use your platform to uplift your brother and sister instead of using your platform to tear them down. So if I'm causing the way for that, then, you know, that makes me feel good.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
In a real way. So anyway, on the spotlight section of the Narrative Podcast, today I'll be spotlighting and by the way, it is Sunday, but you know, even with my 1 hour mark, I started doing this podcast, the broadcast late. So it'll be Monday by the time this airs. But yeah, I'm back though. And it was National Pie Day. But today on the spotlight section, I'll be spotlighting a duo actually. A husband and wife. So that's another positive frame of reference. I'm giving you a positive frame of reference about the original people family structure, because we never get enough credit for being, you know, family units. For being like husband and wife, like, you know, we don't get enough credit for that. But Anyway, I'll be spotlighting a brother by the name of Derek Ramsey and his wife Carice, and I'll be spotlighting them for founding a non-profit organization called Young Black and Lit. And Young Black Lit and Lit is kind of a play on words because, you know, there's a hip-hop slang called lit, but then it's also short for literature. And what it is basically an initiative to get our children, the original children, to read. It was founded in 2018 by Derek's wife, Carice. She went out to purchase some books for her children, and of course, there wasn't a wide selection with, you know, black characters for them to read. So what she wanted to do is design a program where she basically like corrals, you know, books written and aimed towards our community with characters they can relate to, because, you know, in those early years of development, you know, it's all about visuals. It's all about what you see. And that's kind of how the media, you know, why they do what they do with the news is they want us to see the thug, they want us to see the gangbanger, they want us to see the thought, the whore, you know what I mean? So they want to see all the negative images. So what her and her husband is on a crusade to do is to show our children positive images of themselves, you know, getting them to read books with characters that they can relate to, that they can see themselves in a positive way. Now, the books in this program are 110% free. They're basically like, I don't know if you guys remember, I'm a Gen Xer. They had a program called RIF, which stood for Reading is Fundamental, where they would come to the school and they would just like, you know, they would put some books out on the table and you can go and you can just like take a book. And then later they started this other crap. I forget what program that was. So they would give you like a little brochure. You fill out the brochure, and all the books in the brochure cost like $2.53, $3, $2.50, and you would fill it out, and then get your money from your parents. And then it was always like pulling teeth, like I ain't getting no $5 for a book. You already got books. You gotta read them books you got. But anyway, got off putting with that. Yeah, so Young Black and Lit. To find out more about the program, simply go to online to youngblackandlit.org. And they have a donation section. You can donate your time or your talent or your money to help them with their crusade to, you know, give our children literature that they can read and have some self-esteem about themselves from seeing characters that look like them, do positive things. So they have a weekly newsletter, so you can see, go online, you can see all the events their upcoming events. They also have jobs, even though it's a non-profit organization, like a lot of those non-profit organizations. They have paying jobs that need people to help, and it's fine for people to volunteer, but everybody needs money. So that's one of the cool things about a non-profit. Even though it's a non-profit, like it's a lot of bread involved in them non-profits. And then they also have a section, a tutorial section, not a tutorial, but what do you call it? Testimonial section, and it's just like work they're doing in the community and things that they've done. But yeah, go check that out. Young Black and Lit. Go to youngblackandlit.org and lend a helping hand, either with your money, your time, or your talent, and impact the child's life in a positive way. Join me into giving our brother and our sister, Carice and Derek, a warm narrative podcast round of applause. Next section here on the Narrator Podcast. This section is called the Health and Wellness section. In this section, what I'm doing is I'm giving health and wellness tips for original people to sustain a healthy, active, fit lifestyle. And the reason why I'm doing that is because out of everybody on the planet, our people is under attack. We're under attack mentally, physically, and spiritually. In the health and wellness section of the Narrative Podcast, I'm giving you tips on how to armor up in all the areas we're being attacked. And like I said, we're being attacked mentally, physically, and spiritually by the powers that be that do not want us here. They want us unalive. They don't want us operating at a healthy rate. They don't want us procreating. They won't want us advancing. They don't want us excelling. So they're doing everything they can possibly do. They're putting stuff in our food, releasing things in the air, putting things in the water that will drastically, impede our physical well-being, not to mention mentally, the psychological things they're doing with the media, with the music. Things you read, things you watch on television and movies, here on the radio, that has adverse effects on your psyche. And then also spiritual things that they're doing in Hollywood. And now the Narrative Podcast is a home for positivity. I don't do bashing or tearing down of our people, but I gotta say this next little thing because I found it kind of disturbing when I saw the full interview. But there's some dark spiritual things going on in Hollywood, and our brother Terrence Howard is kind of privy to that. He did the Joe Rogan podcast, and he said, watch it. It's not a direct quote, but he basically said, he lets spirits possess him. So there is some dark demonic stuff going on too. We're under spiritual attack. So we're being attacked mentally, physically, and spiritually. In this section of my podcast, I'm giving health and wellness tips to armor up in all the areas that we're being attacked. a disclaimer, my podcast is for anybody to listen to from any walk of life. You can be Asian, you can be Spanish, you can be whatever. You're more than free to listen to my podcast with an open mind, but just keep in mind that my target listening audience is original people, and that's my demographic. But you know, that's who I cater to. But especially in this section, and the reason why, because like I said, out of all the people in the world, we're under the most attack. Like, you know, all those things are going on in the world, and it's all foul. All foulness is directed to everybody, but you know, we're under the most attack. So we need it the most. We need the healing the most out of everybody. And then another thing I just want to put out there for all my religious family out there. Another thing they try to do to deflect away from that is they're always quick, especially in the faith of Christianity. They're always saying, you know, we're all one people, we're all one, we're all gathered here for one purpose, we're all loved in the eyes of God, we're all equal in the eyes of God, God created us all equally, and you know, that's just the biggest load of horse manure ever. So the fact of the matter is we're all different. Variety is the spice of life. The Creator created us all different for a reason. So not saying we can't get together and love each other, but we have to, you know, to not acknowledge that we're all different. You know, that's actually lying. You know, the word said, thou shalt not lie. So people that follow the Christian faith saying we're all equal and we're all one, that's just the biggest lie ever told. We're not all one. You know, we all are different culturally. We're all different spiritually. You know? Case in point, like look at the church. Go to a black church, go to a white church, and then say we're all the same. Observe the art on the walls. Observe the praise and worship section of it, and then say we're all one, we're all the same. We're not. We're not the same. We all have a different genetic makeup. We all have different constitutions. You know, we all have things that will heal us differently, and then to other people outside of our culture, we got things that will harm us. So let's just talk about physically, like black versus white. Like, you know, original people, we're people of the sun. Out of everybody on the planet, our physiology directly mimics a plant's photosynthesis process. We're the only people in the world that can do it. You know, whereas white people, they'll peel and they'll flake and they'll develop skin cancer if they're exposed to too much sunlight. Whereas our people, we can't get enough sunlight. Sunlight heals us, it strengthens us, it clears up our skin, it makes our hair longer. You know, it improves, you know, our epidermal layer. It enhances our mood. It charges our cells. Where people outside of our culture does just the reverse. Case in point, like cold weather. You know, like white people, they can go outside with their shorts on in the winter with snow on the ground. Brother, sister, we can't do that. Like we get a a breeze too airy, we're shivering. We're like, oh my God, I can't take it. You know what I mean? Dietetically, there's certain things within, like, our people, melanated people, we're not supposed to have a whole lot of starch in our diets. Originally we're supposed to just have, to operate at optimal peak efficiency, our diet's supposed to be like mostly like fresh fruit or vegetable, one or the two. We kind of get in trouble when we do the meats, like, look, you know what I mean? But other cultures, they can eat starch till they 150 years old, won't nothing happen. Like people from Irish, they can eat their little potatoes, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, nothing bad will happen. And then our Asian brothers and sisters, they can consume that rice, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, nothing will happen to them. But us, that starch, it gum all up in our system. So saying all that to say we're all different, mentally, physically, and spiritually, and to say we're all the same is just, it's false. So just knock it off. Not to say I'm not so pessimistic to not believe we can't all one day sit down at the proverbial table of brotherhood and work out our differences and just look at each other like, people, and not as like, you're black, you're white, one day, but we're not there yet. We gotta concentrate on our issues right now. So that's what this section is really all about. So the types of health and wellness tips I give, like on the physical side of it, usually is like the health benefits of a plant, herb, extract, elixir that you can ingest or apply topically to improve your physical health. Some type of physical exercise you can do to improve your physical health. On the mental side of it, I give mental tips, like how to, because again, we're all different. We all have different psychological triggers. How melanated people, how our people can, sustain a healthy mental lifestyle. How to deal with the trauma that we have from our experience, especially those of us residing in the United States. How we can navigate and have a, be in full mental wellness. I give tips like that, such as, like meditating, mindful breathing, and being aware of your emotional triggers, and, exercises to promote mental wellness. Then, of course, on the spiritual side, I give spiritual tips such as meditation, such as other spiritual practices you can do to ward off, to recognize when you're being spiritually attacked, and things you can do to ward off spiritual attacks. So those are the types of tips I give in the health and wellness section of the Narrator podcast. Pardon me, I'm kind of chewing something. But today's health and wellness tip is a physical tip. And today I'll be talking about the health benefits of the apricot seed. Apricot seed are big in apricot seed is native to continent of Asia, northeastern part, India, Siberia, which is not the continent of Asia, but Northeast Asia, Central Asia, and they basically, they use it for its medicinal properties. They pretty much grind it up in teas. They also press it, the oil, make it like an oil. They on the continent of Asia, like rub it on their skin to provide the tight, youthful appearance. This is primarily why a whole bunch of people that use apricot seed have no physical signs of aging. If they do have like gray hair, it's like a strand or a patch. Not a whole lot of wrinkling. Live up well past 100 years of age if you incorporate it regularly into your diet. Some properties. It's antibacterial. It's anti-inflammatory, which means, that's like Savvy taught us, that's the root cause of most sicknesses, is the buildup of inflammation in the body. So, you always want to incorporate foods that have anti-inflammatory properties into your diet. It's also good for bone health, gut health. It's good for cardiovascular health. It thins the blood, keeps everything pumping smooth, clears out your breathing passages, all the obstructions in your lungs. Also enhances mood. Good for your skin, teeth, nails, hair. It's basically a superfood, kind of like the apricot itself, but the seed is where all the nutrients are and everything. You always want the seed. So I don't know why the powers that be are so adamant in removing seeds, or adamant about injecting seeds with pesticides. But that's where it's at. It's really hard to get now, especially here in the United States. You probably have to go to a herbalist somewhere, a really reputable herbalist, because some of these herbalists are frauds. So you got to check the credentials when you're purchasing goods from a herbalist to make sure they're legit. And some of these people be selling, knockoffs and things that can actually hurt your health, things that they know aren't authentic, but they'll sell it to you just to make the money. But it's chock full of health benefits. Do your own due diligence on apricot seed, but definitely try to incorporate that into your diet. It's very pricey because, like I said, it's like way over on the other side of the world, so it's hard to get in the United States, but well worth it if you can find some actual legit apricot seed. So that's today's health and wellness tip of the day. Next section is my speaking point section. In this section, what I'm doing is I'm talking about current events, and the reason why I'm doing that is because the media go out of its way to have us all looking and sounding crazy. They always portray our people in the most negative light as possible. They always have us in the media down bad, looking bad, sounding bad. So, and in this section, what I'm attempting to do is just basically cover current events from our perspective, from like whatever they're talking about in the media, how that, impacts our community in any type of way. And, pretty much this is me controlling the narrative. So today's health and wellness tip, what's going on in the world? This is me just kind of dispelling fake news. So some fake news is, a whole lot of content creators is running with it, and unfortunately, it's rampant in our community. A whole lot of content creators are saying, they're bringing the draft back, the military draft back. And so that's fake news. They're not bringing the draft back. Not saying that they won't. Not saying it's out of the realm of possibility that they will bring back the draft. But there is no draft right now. What it was, Congress passed a law to automatically register young men between the ages of 16 through 24 for the selective services for military. So like at 16 and 24, at 18, like that's when they start knocking at your door. I remember a recruiter knocked on my door, like I think I was 16 or 17. So it's usually like a guy comes to your, place of residence when they find out somebody, because all that's on file, your birth certificates, all that's on file, and at some point, whether it's like at the school, they try to recruit you for the ROTC, whatever. At some point, they try to steer you into going into some branch of the military. But there is no draft. It's just like it's an automatic registry of the selective services. So basically, for years they have been fear-mongering children, young male adults, young males on the verge of adulthood to register for the selective services. And if you don't register, you can go to jail or pay a fine, which you can, but there's no draft. It's fake news. There's no draft right now. It's just like they're automatically registering young adults, and why that's so hot button for us, our people. Why I think so many people from our community is kind of running with that narrative is because, our people, we fought in we built this country actually, and we fought in every single war for the country, and we've never got treated fairly in the military, and we've never got treated fairly out of the military. Like, our country has never embraced us for serving in the military, in the military and out of it. We built this country, but like foreigners would be quicker to receive officer status than we would. And that's a fact. And every, brother or sister serving in the military, they can validate that. They can vouch for that. Like, somebody not native to this country will ascend to the rank of officer before, a brother or a sister. in the U.S. military. And that's a fact. They don't love us at all, but they want us to fight for this country, and this country has done nothing for us. Election time is November, and neither candidate still has nothing in their legislation for our people, Democrat or Republican. Like, you can be slick and be independent or grassroots, but like the candidates you got to select to vote still ain't got nothing in it for us. Like, we still ain't after all this time, we still ain't talking about reparations. Every single gold brick in the U.S. depository is there because of slavery. It was built on our backs. Chase, Wells Fargo, J.P. Morgan, all those businesses was built on slave labor. They still here. They built their dynasty on slave labor. They're still here. Every single nationality that ever come to this country, who's ever gotten offended by this country, our country has corrected the oversight with money. And our people, like, first of all, you stole our identity from us because the majority of us was already here. Called us black. So like all the money that these false natives that aren't the original people of this land, they got the hotels and the casinos and all that. They ain't even the real natives of this land. We are. So y'all blocked us from that. We don't get that. And then for our brothers and sisters, it did come over here on slave boats. You're not giving them no money. Like the audacity for us, like these tribes, they want us to prove our lineage. And the people that's sitting on these councils are the $5 Indians. White people that paid $5 to identify as Indian, or Native American as it's called now. But yeah, I got a little off-putting. There is no draft. That's fake news. Not saying it's out of the realm of possibility that it can't come back, because history can and does repeat itself. Ain't nothing new under the sun. So when things abroad get too heavy, the way this nation's going, I don't doubt that they will bring back the draft at some point. Because it's impossible right now, especially for the U.S. military with the internet, because we're seeing how corrupt and foul our nation is. We're seeing, we got the proof, we got the receipts that we're the bad guy. Now we see why all these other countries hate us so much. That we're going in there, taking their resources, bullying them. But then y'all want us to fight for us and we're the bad guys. Nobody wants to be the bad guy. Especially for our people. Y'all ain't did nothing for us, but y'all want us to fight for this country that has done nothing for us. Nothing. The little things, the little pieces of liberty we had to scuffle and fight for. It wasn't given to us. We're the only class of people that had to fight for it. Like, sure, immigrants, they can say we had it rough. Like, Irish people say we can have it rough. And Italian people that say, well, we didn't speak a language. We didn't speak the language. And We came over here with nothing. That's true to a certain capacity. But you came over here with one thing we couldn't come over here with: your skin color. And nobody would know what you are if you didn't have an accent, and if you didn't tell people that you were Irish or Russian or Italian or whatever. But yeah, so that's all I really got. I had some more stuff. I had a whole bunch more notes from the last time I broadcast, but it's super light today, this morning, because it's officially Monday now, but when I started it was Sunday. But I'm gonna ease my way back and let you get reacquainted with me and my platform. So yeah, I'm back in the big way. But this was just I guess the Father's Day edition. So last but not least, I'm gonna end this thing with my wise word of the day. And my wise word of the day is just something philosophical, something that will promote critical thinking, a wise word of wisdom, a gem, a jewel, whatever you want to call it, a nugget, just to resonate with your consciousness and just make you think and just ponder its simple complexities. Wise word of the day here on the Narrative Podcast. Wise word of the day is relentless. Be relentless in everything. Be relentless in your relationships. Be relentless with your family. Be relentless on whatever you're pursuing. Us as a people, I don't think we're relentless enough. Especially with things happen in our community. We want change, but we don't apply that pressure. After we'll march and we'll sit down and we'll get mad, and in extreme cases, if we get big mad, we'll tear some stuff up. We'll do some collateral damage. But I think the biggest reason why we haven't gotten reparations is because we haven't really been relentless with it. We've been locked into just accepting we're never going to get it. So we kind of haven't been relentless in our pursuit of it. And make no mistake, it's not a loan, it's not a handout. This is something they keep on trying to program and condition us to believe that's it, like we're begging for welfare, which was actually created for white people. But I'll talk about that another time. But like food stamps and welfare, that was all designed for white people. But somehow they made us the poster board for it over time. But anyway, you gotta be relentless in whatever you pursue in life. Because when you pursue something relentlessly, you will catch it. So like a love interest, you pursue somebody relentlessly, you will eventually catch them. Now there's an exception to the rule. The exception to that rule would be that they just plain old don't want you. But if you pursue him relentlessly, you'll put him in the spot to tell you like why you can't catch him. But pretty much everything else, if you pursue relentlessly, you will get it. You want $1 million, if you pursue that relentlessly, you will eventually get it. You want a big house, you pursue it relentlessly, you eventually get that big house. You want a nice vehicle, you pursue it relentlessly, you will eventually get that nice vehicle. You want a certain amount of money, you pursue it relentlessly, you will eventually get it. So when you relentlessly pursue anything, you will eventually get it. So as a people, like, number one, we should choose what to pursue relentlessly. You should be relentlessly pursuing peace. You should be relentlessly pursuing happiness, reciprocity. You should be relentlessly pursuing truth. You should be relentlessly pursuing closure, whatever issue that you're wrestling with, that you want to close the book on it once and for all. Mindfulness, well-being, those are the things you should be relentlessly pursuing. You shouldn't be relentlessly pursuing money. Money's a tool. It's to be used by you, not for you to get used by it. You should be relentlessly pursuing things that actually matter in life. Your well-being, your family, your peace of mind, tranquility, abundance. Those are the things you should relentlessly pursue, not all this filler, not all this stuff on the surface. You can't take none of that money with you when you leave up out of here. Can't take none of those status symbols when you leave up out of here. All you're going to be judged when you leave up out of here is how you conducted yourself while you was here, what you did for yourself and those around you while you was here, what you contributed to the human experience while you was here, not your possessions. So, final word of the day, be relentless. So, we take the oath to relentlessly join me next week for another full episode of the Narrator Podcast. This episode is officially done. I'm back, y'all. I took a little break, but I'm back. I broadcast during the weekday and the weekends. My weekends are the full episodes of the Narrator Podcast. During the weekday is mini episodes. The format is slightly different. I'm over 300 episodes in. You can go through my episode log to see what the difference between the weekday and the weekend episode is, but there is a difference in the format. Gotta tune in to find out what the difference is. So I'll be getting at you all this week, all the days that I have available to do it. And this weekend, for sure, with another episode, full episode of the Narrator Podcast. In order to catch me during the weekday, what you want to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'm Halsey Allen on YouTube. And Halsey Allen on Twitter, because these episodes upload to both platforms after I'm done broadcasting. Those are the quickest ways to access the latest installment of the Narrator Podcast. So follow me on either one of those. Halsey Allen on both of them, X and YouTube. And download, click the little heart-shaped like button, download, share, all that good stuff for the algorithm. All the this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Now for the downloading, you would probably want to download it from my X account, which is Halsey Allen. I stay good at Halsey Allen on X. That helps me big time. Download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Leave me a comment in the little comment box. Type something if you like to comment, or even a suggestion. You know, some topics you want me to touch on, or you know what's doing it for you, what's not doing it for you. I will be interested in to know that. But yeah, though, follow me on either one of those mediums, and you know, download this episode and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast, wherever you get your podcast information from. I have also written a book titled The Black Card. The Black Card is available on poetizer.com. Poetizer.com is a community for writers. A specific genre, obviously, is in the title, poetry. It's specifically geared for poets. But it's also, you know, user-friendly for people to want to write novels or short stories or compositions or even essays. But it's just for writers in general, but specifically for poets. And what they have on that particular site is a feature which will allow those that participate on that site the ability to turn their work into a book. And that's what I did. I turned my work into a book. It's titled The Black Card. The Black Card is about a 30-page book of poetry. And it depicts our people. You know, it encompasses, you know, our people in its entirety. It's basically like a snapshot of our people, like in poetry form. You know, everything we go through as a people, both positive and negative. It's really creative, witty. You will love it. So go to poetizer.com. They got a virtual online bookstore, and go on in their virtual online bookstore, purchase my book titled The Black Card, written by me, Halsey Allen. It'll make a great gift, coffee table read. You know, a chill out book. If you're trying to get into poetry or you like poetry, it's definitely for you. Go check it out. The Black Card. Go get your copy today or get your Black Card revoked. Last but not least, I have a poetry blog titled hallziespoetrycorner on blogger.com. And the address is www.mrhalziesblogs.com. My tagline is Poetry with a Passion. Poetry for all occasions. And what that is just basically poetry that I just kind of spontaneously write. It's comparable to like a freestyle rap or a spoken word poem. It's basically just like I'm just writing the first thing that pops into my head. The unique thing about it is the poems are so specific and intricate. It'll give you the impression that I drafted all the poetry featured on that blog, but I actually didn't. I just like legit, just whatever popped into my head, that's what I wrote. But they're really creative. They're really interesting to read. that make you go through a whole gamut of emotions. You're definitely assured to find a piece that you can relate to. You can either relate to the whole poem or at least a fraction of the poem. But definitely worth checking out. And the name of my blog is called hallziespoetrycorner on blogger.com at www.mrhallziesblogs.com. And the tagline for that is Hallzies Poetry Corner. Poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. When you read one of them, you'll find out why. So go check it out today. And the way you support my poetry blog is by you can share either the link or a poem featured on my poetry blog across all medium platforms. So on your Facebook, on your whatever you're active on, share either the link or a poem featured on Hallzies Poetry Corner blog. On Hallzies Poetry Corner across all platforms. So that's it. That's all. That'll wrap up this episode of the Narrative Podcast. Like I said, y'all, I'm back. I took a little break. Had this, I got a little ouchie. Had a little ow wow. Got all patched up. So I'm back. Yeah, back in full effect. They don't say full effect no more. I'm showing my age, but yeah, I'm back. So more regular uploads of the Narrative Podcast on the regular times, which is on the weekend and the weekday. And go check them out. Go check all of them out. All my previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast, wherever you get your podcast information from. Download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Not to mention, visit Hallzies Poetry Corner on blogger.com at www.mrhallziesblog.com. Share either the link or poems featured on Hallzies Poetry Corner across all platforms. So yeah, I'm back. But this episode of the Narrative Podcast is officially a wrap. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, promote positivity, stay positive, use your platforms to share positive content about our people and our culture, because the media intentionally vilifies us. So don't, be a part of the problem, be a part of the solution. We got to be solution based. And they can start just by sharing positive content on all your platforms. So yeah, let's do it, y'all. Let's change the narrative. I'm Halsey Allen. I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time. I'm asking you to help me in my crusade to change the narrative by becoming a narrator. And while I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time on my end as a narrator, you can help me change the episode one episode at a time. Until next time, Halsey Allen and the Narrative Podcast signing off. And it's like that.
Make it work.
now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.